Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh, yeah.
And we're live. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Ryan. I'm a musician. I play in a project called Yellow Pills.
So, how did you get the name of Yellow Pills?
It used to be called Yellow Candy, and I changed it because I found out there was somebody else who went by the name, and I just did not want any confusion at all. So, after brainstorming multiple nouns, pills sounded likable, so I just went with Yellow Pills.
And when anybody's looking for D12 song Yellow Pills, you pop up as well.
I know, I've noticed.
So I mean, that was a good play on your part of using it.
Yeah, but I think that's a song, and this, right? That's a song.
Yeah, it's a song, yes.
Right.
But even if you type in that, Google, YouTube, everywhere else will direct you to that song, and then a spot or two spots down is you. Just
Correct.
The algorithm, you're there. It's just if you don't put like the band at the end of it or something like that, D12 pops up first.
Indeed. For now, at least.
For now, hopefully it changes. But
yeah, hopefully the algorithms change.
So, who's your biggest influence in music that got you started? I know you said you were in a couple bands prior.
Yeah, I mean, the influences range truly all over the place. If you've heard any of Yellow Pills, I would imagine that probably apparent. But biggest influences are everyone from Beethoven to Beck to Miles Davis to Billie Holiday to Pixies are definitely my favorite band of all time. I love Fugazi, I love Modest Mouse, I love New Order, I love Radiohead. Pretty all over the place. But yeah.
Since you've been in the business for a while, somebody coming up in the industry, what advice would you give them?
That's a really good question these days. Advice I would give is to try to compete with yourself and not with other people. Otherwise, it's likely you'll drive yourself crazy. Try to compete with yourself and not with other artists, because it's a rabbit hole I've gone down before that it's maddening. And to go with your gut as far as sound goes, and yeah, this particular project is pretty. A lot of what you hear is me at the moment. I'm doing about 99% of the instruments with occasional friends coming in. So fortunately, I have a lot of control over it, and having as much control as you can over whatever your artist is, as soloish as it is definitely makes things less maddening. But yeah, ultimately, it's try to compete with yourself. It is try to avoid competing.
To piggyback on that question, one thing you would want to change in the industry?
Ooh, something I'd want to change in the industry. Man, that's a really good question. I don't. It'd probably be impossible to change, but I would love if people had a little more of a genuine eclectic liking for different genres and different stuff. I've come across so many artists who say that it's real all over the place, and it's typically not the case at all. It's usually stuff that sounds very, very, very similar to and finding it, if I make it so that people were genuinely interested in different types of genres, that would be make it more enjoyable, I guess. Probably doesn't make much sense, but that's what I would change if I had the power to.
So you wouldn't change pay to play or ticket sales or Spotify or anything of that nature?
Oh, well, I mean, of course, yeah. Ticket sales, if the lower the better. Spotify, I admittedly, honestly, don't know much about. I started. There's an interesting book called Spotify Teardown that I started to read, and it's about it's some MIT students kind of created some fake artists and started putting them up on Spotify to sort of see what happens, basically. But it, yeah, I admittedly don't know much how it works because once I record stuff, I sort of send it off to the people that put it on there, and they kind of take care of the rest of that. But yeah, I mean, I would love if ticket sales were lower. I would love if um, people. It's weird, like because it with the internet and everything now, people do have a lot more ability to get their stuff out there, but it also makes it way more clustered. So there's a lot of stuff out there that is not is rather boring to listen to. So like it, you know what I mean? It's makes it way more crowded. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, but like, what do you consider boring music?
what do I consider boring music? I mean, there's so much out there. Uh, would you like names of artists or?
If you want to name drop, that's fine. I'm just saying, like,
um,
I mean,
uh,
that's on you.
a lot of it starts to sound the same. You know, like there's a lot of garage rock bands out there. There's a lot of like synth pop bands out there. Not all that stuff is like awful to listen to or anything, but I typically will get bored with it when it all starts to sound the same song after song after song, which is very common for most bands. You know, but I just kind of get bored when, like, Dive is a good example. If you know the band Dive, when I first heard them, I really liked it, but I went to see them. They came through town, went to go see them live, and it was live that I realized, like, man, this all I can't really tell the difference, and it all just kind of starts to sound the same. And that's just my personal taste. You know, this isn't the objective, correct way to listen to music. Everyone has their own thing, which is totally fine. But, yeah.
So, if you weren't playing music, what would you be doing with your life? If music was not a thing,
If music was
not a thing.
not a thing,
Yeah.
probably something with like film or comedy. Um, I'd probably be doing something in comedy. I used to do a lot of comedy growing up and theater. I actually work at a theater right now. I do music and sound design for a comedy theater. Um, and I'd probably be doing something performative in that aspect. I've thought about that before. If I would go crazy, I would go crazy if I wasn't able to play and or listen to music. But yeah, I'd probably be listening to watching film, something in film, something in theater.
If you could pick a song to describe you as a person, to send somebody, no captions, no nothing, what song would that be?
Oh boy. Um, at this moment, maybe "So What" by Miles Davis.
Okay.
That's yeah, probably one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite albums. It's I heard it described in a way that you could hear that song 100 times, but it kind of always has something new to say. Like, definitely agree with that.
If you could pick your own bill, who would you want on it?
With my own lineup.
Yeah, your own lineup.
Oh boy. To watch like a
No, for you would be on the bill as well. I'm saying, who are you taking with you?
oh boy.
It could be national. It could be local.
Dead or alive.
I'll give you Dead or Alive as well.
Okay. Probably Fugazi.
I haven't heard that name in years. I have not heard that name in years.
That's probably them. Billie Holiday and the Pixies. Are you in? I don't know. Are you in the band?
No, I'm not actually.
Gotcha.
I play mediocre guitar. I haven't picked it up in years. I'm more behind the scenes and
Gotcha.
photography and everything else and promotions, and I only know about one song.
Gotcha. If it's okay to ask, do you know who you would like to see on a bill? Like 4 bands, ideally.
Yeah, it'd actually be a very interesting bill, but I'm gonna have to say Pearl Jam.
Uh-huh.
Not now, older Pearl Jam, like when 10 came out.
Sure.
I'm gonna say Korn, and just for shits and giggles, the Clydes.
The what?
The Clydes.
The Clydes. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I think that'd be an interesting night. I mean, it doesn't really match up so well, but I think it'd be a fun night.
Definitely interesting. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to ask the hard question now because I ask it every night anyway. Last Supper scenario: who's your 12 people? And you have to have one female present.
Last Supper scenario, meaning what 12 people would I want at my Last Supper?
Yeah, who's your apostles?
My apostles. Oh. Anybody?
Anybody. It can be Scooby-Doo. I mean, anybody that you...
Sure. I would want Allie, who's my girlfriend. She's the best. Miles Davis, Tom Waits, Billie Holiday, Ian MacKaye. Let's see. Django Reinhardt, Dinah Washington, both my parents. Let's go with, we'll say Etta James and let's go with John Coltrane and Grant Green.
Okay.
I think it'd be an interesting conversation.
And what would you be serving?
Food from New Mexico. New Mexican food. Probably like green chili chicken in July.
Okay.
There you go. That is a hard question. Quite a long list. Have you ever had New Mexican food?
No, I have not.
If you like spicy food, you're missing out. It's very, very.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to yet.
Okay. Where are you? I'm in Chicago at the moment. I don't think I'm quite sure where.
I am from New Jersey.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, I'm 15 minutes away from Starland Ballroom, and then about 45 minutes to an hour from Asbury.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm in that. I'm like in that area.
Okay.
If you could pick one of your songs to be in a movie, what movie would it be and what song?
What movie would it be? I guess why not go with my favorite movie? Kind of a strange one, but it's called Sneakers from the '90s. It's one of the Hackers movie from the '90s.
Did it have sneakers on a line or something? The cover of it.
Not like shoes, sneakers. It was about like these. Robert Redford was in it, if that's helpful.
Oh, okay.
It kind of I don't think it did all that great, but it's just been my favorite movie. But I'd probably put it in there, and I'd probably use something that was conducive to that soundtrack. So maybe I'd probably put. I have a song called Tippy Toe that I'd probably put in there. Probably somewhere well.
What's that song about?
It's an instrumental song, but it sounds quite sneaky. It sounds kind of spy-ish. It's not necessarily about anything. I was honestly just kind of dicking around on the guitar, and then I recorded it kind of almost accidentally.
So what is your main goal with your career?
My main goal with my career. I think at this point it would be to try and get as much stuff that I'm proud of as available as possible. Earlier when I was like in my 20s, it was probably I would guess more to be a rock star and to be famous, doing concerts and all that stuff. But it's just not really too interested in it. I think at this point, the main goal would be to try and get as much stuff that I'm proud of out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Since Halloween's coming up soon, what was that one costume you always wanted but you never got?
What costume I wanted? Well, maybe I don't know that I never got it as much as I was maybe just too lazy. Maybe Artie, the strongest man in the world, from the Avengers movie.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a very specific shirt and like and I also don't particularly look like him. But yeah, probably already the strongest man in the world. There's some character from Pete and Pete. Stu Benedict, the sad bus driver, or
So you were a Nickelodeon kid?
I was. Were you?
Somewhat. It was more of I was always watching MTV.
I hopped back and forth. It was MTV and then Nickelodeon. Those were the two I kind of hopped back and forth.
Yeah, when MTV was MTV.
Right.
But that's a totally different story now.
Yeah. There's a great book called "I Want My MTV." If you haven't read it, it's an oral history of MTV. That's really interesting.
Yeah, but those were the days.
Yeah.
Run home from school, watch TRL.
And
wait till 10 o'clock. Pretend we're asleep. Watch 10 o'clock, 10 for 10, or all the videos that weren't able to be played during the day.
Right.
I think there was about like 3 or 5 that you had to wait till after 10 o'clock to watch it.
Right. Liquid Television. Right. With the
yeah, I think it was Liquid Television. There was Oddville and a whole bunch of other shows on there that were like at the 10 spot.
Right. Yeah. The State was always my favorite.
Yes, and they moved that to Comedy Central after that.
Right.
That and Kids in the Hall was on there, I believe, at one point.
That's right. It absolutely was.
So speaking of that, if you could go back to the 90s, one TV show, one movie, one CD, one candy, what are you bringing back?
Oh boy. Okay. TV show, a CD, a movie, a candy.
Yeah.
TV show. I'd probably bring back probably The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Since we've already talked about that, I guess the other one would maybe be Buzzkill. I liked Buzzkill.
Okay, that was a good show as well.
Yeah, I liked that kind of came and went pretty fast. Movie probably. I would say. Probably. My Cousin Vinny. I think that's an underrated comedy.
Oh, no, it was such a good movie.
Yeah. And CD, I'd probably bring back. I guess Bossa Nova by the Pixies. It's kind of a lot of people I know think it's their worst album, and I heard a great thing about it once, which was if that's their worst album, then they're the greatest rock band of all time, which kind of made me laugh, and I agree with. And then Candy. I guess were Paydays a 90s candy?
I'm guessing that they came back, but
right. I don't know if they're one of those ones that, like, unbeknownst to us, have been around since like the 50s or something. But they certainly had the same logo.
Packaging,
yeah. But yeah, Paydays are much like Bossa Nova by the Pixies. Paydays are underrated.
All right. Speaking of overrated and underrated, as we know, Pixies is pretty much your favorite band.
Yeah.
So who do you think is overrated and who do you think is underrated?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Man, Honestly, and I when I say they're overrated, that does not mean they are untalented or that they have, you know, that they're awful or that they are bad, because they have stuff I really like. I've gone to see them live, but I don't quite understand the. I think the Mountain Goats are a little overrated. Um, and again, that doesn't mean they suck or that I hate them or anything like that. I just don't quite get what's the big deal is.
To be honest, I've never heard of them.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. Maybe it's a Chicago. I don't know. Maybe it's a Chicago thing, but like they, I mean, it's. I just don't. I don't understand it. But then I would say underrated. I'd say I think Wolf Parade is underrated. I really really enjoy them. I've seen them a couple times, and yeah, yeah they I would say are underrated. They have some great stuff. Do you have anybody you think's overrated? I'd be curious who you think if I may ask.
Overrated, and everybody that who knows me, I'm gonna say Nickelback is overrated.
Oh well, certainly.
Underrated, there is. I have a long list of that one, but
Of underrated.
underrated.
Yeah. Who's a couple if I may ask?
I'm gonna have to say underrated because I see big things coming. Is Dying Oath? I see Forever May Fall is underrated. Carbon Stone, Anoxia are underrated. I mean, I can see big things coming out that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really have not. Don't know those.
Just to name a few.
Sure.
I mean, there's plenty that I think I give it till next year.
Oh, cool.
Like I literally think by next year, the scene's gonna blow up more.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, but I couldn't agree more with Nickelback. Yeah, I mean,
I have my reasons why I can't. I mean, it's not, there's only one member that I dislike with a passion.
one member of the band.
Yeah, one member of the band. Everybody else is cool.
Cool. Well, you don't have to go into it if you want. I'd be
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just going through my notes. Sorry.
Sure.
Just give me a second. All right, this is if you could live. Actually, no, sorry. If you could switch lives with a famous person, who would it be and why?
I guess it would be. This would. I'm pretty scatterbrained. So this might switch. This would almost certainly switch on another day. But at this moment, maybe like um, a like humongous, famous musician of some sort, like one of the Rolling Stones or something. Like just to get a glimpse of what that is like, because I've heard it's not too enjoyable. It's kind of claustrophobic, and you can't go obviously can't go into a Target or something like and just to buy floss or whatever because you get swamped. And I've just never had that experience. I don't really anticipate to have it. So maybe one of the Rolling Stones, and then to also play for whatever thousands and thousands of people. I've certainly not had that experience and don't anticipate to have it. So maybe someone, like one of the Rolling Stones, maybe like Mick Jagger or something. That might be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point of the interview, I let the guest flip it on me. You can flip it on me and ask me anything you want.
Oh, okay. How long have you been doing this?
4 years.
4 years. This is kind of just for my own. Because I don't know too much about it. What's I guess one of the main reasons you do this?
The main reason is to shine light on people that's probably never been heard of.
Gotcha. Who, if you had to choose like top 3 favorite bands or musical artists, who would they be?
Top 3?
If 5 makes it somewhat easier, 5.
My top 3 would be, not that I listen to them that much anymore, Pearl Jam, Korn, and Sevendust.
Gotcha. Top 3 favorite films?
I'm going to have to say Mallrats. I'm probably going to get laughed at this, but I really enjoy My Girl. The first one and the first one and second one.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything by Kevin Smith. Like,
gotcha.
I'm a comedy person, but
Sure.
like I have that side of me that I'm like that, and anything that has Sandra Bullock in it. So like those are my main go-tos. If it's comedy or I guess drama. I guess if you consider some of that drama.
Right. Have you seen Clerks 3 yet?
No, I have not.
I didn't see the second one.
I want to every time. I've just been busy, and the theater that's near me, that's not that far, didn't have it. So
gotcha.
I would have to go on a Monday or Tuesday. That's about it. If I could go.
Right. Let's see. Is I gotta have hundreds of questions. I just like asking that, though, is as sort of boring as those questions are. I'm always just interested in who they listen to the most, what they like. Because it sort of, in some cases, can tell you a lot about what they like genre-wise and whatnot.
I mean, I listen to everything. It's just that's of me growing up. That's
right.
I was born in 80.
I
was born in 83, and
cool.
I grew up in the 80s, 90s. So anything of that.
Yeah, I was born in 84.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you think of collecting vinyl these days? Is it something you do? Is it something you kind of roll your eyes at? Is it something?
No, I actually have a couple pieces. My favorite store closed down, so it's kind of, I haven't bought anything recently, but I'm that type of person. I like things in hand. I don't like ordering things online because, with my luck, I'll have to send it back.
Is it
So,
scratched or something? Or
no, just in general, it's just my luck that when I order certain things, something's missing, or I try not to order online. If I pay for something, I want it then, not 2 days later, 3 days later.
right? Yeah, I know what you mean. There's
Yeah,
also something fun about like digging through and like
yeah,
discovering.
it's the feeling of going to a record store and people might say rummaging through, but it's more of like it brings back memories while you're doing that.
Big time. And discovering those. Do you know that band, The Rapture?
I've heard of them.
Um, they have an old EP called "Out of the Races and Onto the Tracks," and I had one of those moments in one of the record stores here in Chicago, and um, I shit you not, it was just one of those. It's a you can obviously find it online, I'm sure, anywhere, but I I don't buy vinyl online all that much. I like going searching through it, but it was one of those instances where like I was walking past the R section and was like, I wonder if they have Out of the Races and Onto the Tracks by The Rapture. They almost certainly don't. It's very, 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 very unlikely because it's one of those things I've been looking for, a physical copy for years.
Yeah,
And I looked in R, and I shit you not, they had it. It was just one of those weird.
I love those experiences. Like something pops in your head, and you're like, and it's actually there, and you jump up and down for a minute.
Right. I
Like we had a place out here called Vintage Vinyl.
Yeah.
Anybody that's from Jersey knows Vintage Vinyl. It was the most. It was a candy shop for musicians. They had live performances. Meet and greet and live performances there from you name it. They were there.
Sure.
I have a video on my page of the last time I ever got to go there, like how bare and how just to show how everything was. I don't know, like when things like that happen, like certain places close, it just that pit in your stomach.
Yeah.
Like I know things have to come to an end at some point, but like
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
like there are other record stores out here, but they're smaller.
Right.
I mean, the Princeton Exchange is really nice, but I'm saying they had the deal over there. You buy 2 CDs, you get one free. Like
Right.
I not expecting it. Every time I went there, not expecting it. $96 later.
Right.
Every time I went there, except for like once,
Right.
it was like $96 later. But I'm saying I got bags full of stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's those experiences where I've only had a few of them, but where I like with my mouth will go,
Yeah.
like Captain Jazz.
Yeah.
They're a band from the outside, from like the Chicago area, but they have like they put out one album, and I wasn't specifically looking for it, but I was just looking through like the new arrival section and came across it, and just audibly, and like didn't even look at the price, didn't care, just like getting
Exactly. Like there. I mean, I miss that going and finding a gem. Like I had no idea. The lead singer from Judas Priest did a Christmas album.
Oh,
I bought it. I mean, it's in my collection in the storage unit at the moment, but yeah, I never knew that existed. I did not even know that, what do you call it, Pearl Jam did an acoustic set for MTV. I had no idea
Right.
that was there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I know I'm a different breed, but I'm just saying in general, like stuff like that, like I'm jumping up and down.
Sure.
If I'm not like physically jumping up and down, but you can tell I'm like hee.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I had to say there's a record store by my old apartment. There's a band called Enon. I don't know if you know of them. This there's a fellow in it named John Schmersel, who's been in. They've all just kind of been in all these little like hip bands afterwards. But I was at this place called Record Breakers by my old apartment, and it was definitely kind of a harder to find thing. It was not a new I'm having a brain fart. New printing. It was like an old original one, and it was on the wall there. Just didn't look at the price. I just saw it and I just asked, the guys, like, can I please get that? It's called High Society by Enon. And like, oh yeah. A younger than myself gentleman working behind the bar, and he's like, yeah, listen to this, it's pretty good. And I'm just like, dude, you have no idea. That's like one of my top. Oh my, yes, it was like $40. Didn't care, But yeah,
I always love those moments. Like you'll have a conversation, and about music in general, and like when people are shocked that you know a certain band, or like, or at least know more than one song.
right.
Like I love those conversations. Like my biggest thing is you're representing their merch and you don't know anything.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I know it shouldn't aggravate me, and what do you call it? At least it's helping the cause.
Sure.
But like sometimes I roll my eyes. I'm like, really?
Right. Yeah. I had a friend who they worked at a restaurant, and they would they specifically did it to try and perhaps get more tips or something. But they were saying they used to wear like Def Leppard, like a Def Leppard shirt, and people would always try and be like, "Oh man," they'd try to talk to them about it, and they didn't know much, didn't know anything. And I don't even really, they're fine, I suppose, but like just people would try to talk Def Leppard talk with them, and they didn't really have much to say other than like I think they found it at Target or something. But yeah, it's I know what you mean. But yeah, it's I can confidently say all the band shirts I have are bands I'm
that
seen or bought at a concert or can know more than one of their songs.
So what are you working on now?
Now, well, I just finished the next album, which comes out February 10th. It's called Death by Elvis, and I just heard the mastered version of it. It sounds awesome. So now I've kind of started working on I think it's going to be an EP. It's probably going to be on the shorter side, but it's I don't know what it's going to be called, but for whatever bizarre reason, I had an idea to remember that film, The Sandlot?
Yep.
For whatever weird dipshit reason, I had an idea to like do music that was not in The Sandlot, but that could have been.
Okay, so your feelings of songs that should have been in there that wasn't in there.
Yeah. It's all instrumental. Most Yellow Pill stuff is instrumental, but like it's stuff that sounds like it could have been in the stuff that I might even call it just songs that were not in the Sandlot, because that's precisely what it is. You know, nothing of it was in the Sandlot. That movie's, you know, from the 90s, but I would like. There seems to be a very unique, strange cult of people who love that movie, and everyone I've mentioned this to seems their eyes kind of light up. So that kind of makes
I don't know anybody that does not like that movie.
Right.
Even if they're not into baseball, or it was just a good, wholesome movie.
Right.
I mean,
it holds up. I mean, it's still funny. It's just it's kind of a silly, fun, like you said, wholesome movie. And so, for whatever strange reason, one night I was like, I know Sandlot songs, and so it's like I started to record it, and like everything. So I got a couple, like 2 songs for it so far that sound pretty well. But I'm calling it stuff that, like, there's one called The Great Bambino, stuff that is kind of little references from the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on now. Also, what else? Like I said, a lot of what you hear on the Yellow Pills stuff is mostly me doing multi-tracks, but I actually have a band now. I've got together people I know to like learn these songs so that we can start playing live, because I can't do these all by myself live, obviously. So, yeah.
I mean, you could, but just tape everything to you.
Yeah, I could, but it would not sound the same. So I'm trying to make it sound as simple.
No, yeah.
Right. But yeah, we're working on teaching. Got a drummer, guitarist, and a bass player, and then I do all the keyboards. And the guitarist is this guy Ben, who's he's got like 100 pedals, and he can make any kind of sound because he knows. Having heard the Yellow Pill stuff, he's said like, man, it's pretty all over the place, genre wise. So we're trying to we'd like to play somewhere. So yeah, trying to get a little set list together.
Okay. So one last question of the night.
Yeah.
Do you have any messages you would like to tell your fans that you have now?
Thank you for listening. The next one comes out February 10th. That I guess, I hope you listen to the next album. It's pretty schizophrenic as far as sound genre goes. It's there's a couple other singers on there, it's my favorite one so far. But I typically say that about every new one that's about to come out. I'll probably say it about the next one. But I'd say thanks for listening, and check out the next album that comes out February 10th. And eat your vegetables. Stay away from drugs. Sorry, that's probably boring.
Where can you be followed?
I can be followed on Spotify, or if you use Apple Music, pretty much anywhere you stream can be followed. Or got an Instagram page, also have a Facebook page. Those will keep you updated on stuff. Also, Mid 400 Records website, or Raining Music, which is sort of their like sister label. They release everything that we record.
And do you have merch?
I not yet. But that is a goal. I don't quite have merch yet, but ideally, when we do start playing live, which shouldn't be that far from now, we will have. I would love to have at least shirts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank you for your time. And once again, this is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch.
Thanks
and
for
have a great night.
you too. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.